And on the heels of the murder of George Floyd, we had the mayor of Camden in Dana Red talking about policing. So we're back. We're back here 3 years later, almost 2.5 years later, to have a similar conversation with the newly elected mayor of Camden, New Jersey. Let me welcome Mayor Vic Carstarphen to the Karen Hunter Show. Hi.
How you doing, Karen? Thank you for having me today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for answering the call. Because Camden has been held up as a model of abolishing police and how it can work. And I've read the stat. I don't know if it's accurate, but violent crime has been reduced by 42% since y'all just disbanded and defunded the police. Tell us about that. And you're a late native Camdener. Is that what do we call people from Camden? I call them Philadelphians.
I call it Camdenites. But
Camdenites.
There you
Camdenites. All right. And y'all so close to Philly because you went to Temple. So you're more akin to the Philly vibe than you are to the like North Jersey vibe.
I'll take that, Karen. But we got our own good thing going over here. And I respect all my
That's a fact.
Philadelphians. You're right. I went to school over there and I know so many Philadelphia, natives over there. Got a lot of good folks there. So it's all good. But
all right.
Yep.
So tell us what actually transpired and where are you now with like how do police function if you don't
as you mentioned, going back to Mayor Red's tenure, we started our community policing, a form of policing model that we've that started, and really it's just about engaging, and people talk about it, engaging in a community, but we've taken it to a level of just developing strong relationships with our stakeholders, gaining that trust, the confidence in our residents and our business community, our community stakeholders, getting out consistently in the community and really working on it. What I gathered when I became a councilman and then I became mayor and just getting close to our police department is just seeing the methods that they use. I mean, we were one of the first to wear body cameras in the country. We're constantly working on de-escalation techniques. We have a virtual simulator training simulator that our police officers actually go over scenarios constantly. And throughout the usage of our body cameras, going back and going over what went wrong, how do we get better? And that's been ingrained. So along with that, and along with engaging our community, I mean, we've seen this year is our lowest level of crime in 50 years. And I have to say, we've been a model for other agencies, around the country. And we've had agencies from Germany come just to see how we've done as far as building trust in our community. And, having our reflection of our department looking like our community, the Black and Brown community. I know, first of all, I want to, send my condolences to the Nichols family for the senseless, violent crime that unfolded in Memphis. And I see, unfortunately, that happened. And unfortunately, you saw men of color from their PD. And again, that gets back to you have to be consistent. I call it the 3 C's, Karen. You got to be caring, you got to be committed, and you got to be consistent about what you're doing. And our police department has done that. And I'm constantly in tune with our chief of police, which was our first Hispanic police chief, Gabe Rodriguez. We're always on the same page. We're always supporting each other within this administration and getting out there and empowering our youth. You get out there in that 14, 15, 12, 13 year old age bracket. You get out there listening to what they have to say, building that trust and empowering them to know that we're working with you. We're working together for our community. And once you start getting on that page, it starts to triculate down into the little things that are happening that causes crime. And, we all have our challenges. We're in an urban community, but I will say, over the since Mayor Red, we've been building and building. And I'm fortunate and humble to be in a position as the leader of this city to be able to engage with our police force and watch every day and see how they're just, they're working to be better for our community.
So, Mayor, I really am interested in what you said, especially when you mentioned simulation. I wonder if you'll share with us a little bit more about that, because the work that I've done in researching, I focus on violence in my research, and the work that I've done around this issue really has highlighted the fact that very often the simulation, the contracts that the police get around simulation technology, very seldom are actually teaching them how to de-escalate. It's always ending with a death. And there were very difficult not to have that as the outcome for the simulation that keeps getting the contracts. So I wonder if you'll say more about whether your office is actually contracting with a different kind of simulation than what I've seen throughout the country. And also, when you call 911, who's coming?
Well, when it comes to the simulator, I had a chance I've seen our virtual simulator quite a few times. We've had several people coming into our town, and we take them into our police department. It's an actual room, a virtual room, and it gives you thousands of scenarios. And officers are going in there in their scenarios. It may be a man that's pulled over, that's holding hostage a baby in a simulator, and you have to make these decisions as a police officer. And like you said, it can go either way, but because it's a simulation, you break down what happened and why the simulation went this way instead of that way. So you're consistently ingraining in officers on different scenarios how to de-escalate, how to speak towards what's going on. And it's actually, I don't know, I can't see why all police departments don't have this in their within their police department. It's helped. And along with just going over body camera footage, it's like I was an athlete. I played basketball, and you play your games, and then you practice and you get ready for your games. And I want to say what we do is we're constantly practicing how to be better. So when the real game situation comes, which is our police force getting out in our community, they're going over scenarios. Now, in real life, you're not going to be going, of course, with a simulation, but you get in the mind frame as a police officer. So what I'm seeing is the mind frame, the framework is getting geared into how do I slow this down, the scenario. So you're not running in from an emotional standpoint. That's what I've gathered.
And you're saying that,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So you're saying that the simulation, you have seen that de-escalation is where it really leads people, because in my research, I'm showing that the simulation that keeps getting the contracts throughout the nation's country, throughout this nation, are the ones that actually don't end with de-escalation at all. And so cops are actually being primed to never de-escalate. So I'm trying to figure out how
Well, I can only speak on what we have going here in our city and what we've done over the last 10 to 14 years is building up. And it's a combination of a lot. It's a combination of how leadership is. It's a combination on working on those things we've talked about with simulation. It's a combination of getting out in the community and constantly engaging and having their police force gain the trust of our residents and vice versa. So it's a combination of a lot. And again, every urban community has their challenges, but I'm just telling you the building blocks that I've seen as mayor and that I know from working with our police department, what our officers go through on a daily basis. I mean, we really take serious, and I'm not saying anyone else does around the country, but we really take serious on how to approach our residents and our communities and situations that come about when it comes to and going through a crime or dealing with an issue in the community. We work really hard. Our officers work hard, and we've had police departments from across the country, from the state of New Jersey, across the bridge, Karen. I have a relative who's a councilman across there, and they've come across, spent hours with us, just going over, what we have, our spot shotters, our cameras everywhere, Dr. Mitchell. A lot of things work together. Our technology department, I got to be honest with you, we really work hard on utilization of technology and solving issues in our city.
So I definitely hear you on the layered approach that you're taking. So I guess I'll just give that the simple question then. If we're thinking about Camden as a space where there's less traditional policing, when one calls 911, what is the response then? Like, who's coming? Is it the police or is it something else? How should we think about it in those terms?
Our police are coming. From 911, our police are coming. Anytime there's any shots fired, our shot spotters, our police are there within minutes. If there's any shots fired in our community. So, you know, and again, our residents, over the years, we've gained trust where our residents are making those calls and they feel comfortable. You know, it's funny, I have captains and sergeants because our police department is in the community so heavily that, you know, residents call them and they're calling them on the phone because they have that relationship. So
that's important. That's important. I was going to ask you, we're talking because we don't have a lot of time. Mayor Vic Carstarphen is here. He's the mayor of Camden, New Jersey, which defunded and disbanded his police. And then you put it back together. Like, I'm still not clear about, did the state take over? What, you know, who funds the police now? Because you have to pay salaries and things. Like, who's in charge?
Well, that comes under our budget, a city budget. We dismantled our police department and created a county police department. Instead of this Camden City, we are Camden County Police Department.
Okay. All right. So it's a little semantics, right? Little bit semantics. So how does it function differently? And what do you attribute to the reduction in violent crimes and having the lowest crime rate since in the last 50 years? What do you, is it the community piece? Because the brothers that killed, and I'm calling them brothers because they look just like my brother, who killed Tyree in Memphis, were from the community.
Yeah. One thing we've always talked about is situations like this. It's on the flip side. You know, we've had so many cases. When I say the flip side, you haven't seen as far as our culture, black on black. You know, and if this is the first that I've seen, usually it's the other way around, and where everyone's the racial tone of what's going on. But just this goes to show in some enforcement areas and law enforcement, it's ingrained, and it starts at the top. This is not a white, black, brown issue. This is an internal issue that goes back, you know, in some instances, in some of the police departments, it's the conditioning, and that conditioning, you know, has to be broken of how police officers react and are acting. And I'm still struggling with this, because a thing founded with the expressed intent to destroy and to hunt down Black bodies, I don't think can be reformed. No. And, you know, so I struggle with this notion that somehow if we just have better training, it's baked in. The brutality is baked in. It was founded under this violence. So the only thing to do is to completely reimagine what policing looks like. And I feel like Camden has done it in a de facto way. You still got police, they still got uniforms, and they're still driving cars, and they got guns and tasers and all the same equipment, but they're in the community and part of the community, like really entrenched in the community, which is different. But we can't duplicate that town to town, can we? I tell you, it's a different culture of policing in our city. You know, many, many years ago, if you remember Dr. Mitchell and Karen, you look on the front page of Time magazine and you see murder capital of the world, Camden, New Jersey. You know, we were consistently in the top 3. People think about places like Detroit, they say Camden. So we had to change our culture. And that started with really getting in the community, and when you're the hiring of officers, changing the mindset, and just working on that, getting better in how we handle. I mean, literally, when I was in high school, coming out of high school, wherever I went at in college, and after that, people say, "You from Camden?" Whoa, you from Camden, New Jersey, like we were Chicago or something. It was like
Chicago never was Chicago. That's all messaging as well. Chicago's never been the most dangerous city.